we really want to build. We're serious about building, but we want to know our options before we do it.
And you should. I assume you could call a realtor and they would know these answers immediately. As in their job description, they know this stuff.
Exactly. What do you do?
So that is so interesting to know, and I didn't know that basically with realtors, how realtors are not using this is beyond me. If they're not using it, they should be, is what I'm saying.
Well, we're still new. I mean, it's really starting to take off fast now, and it's becoming competitive.
Yeah.
In the cities where it opens up, because we're only going to allow, for a certain number of realtors. And one of the things that's happening too, Paul, is we're raising the bar.
Yeah.
We're realizing that realtors could be doing better.
Yeah.
Not just better for themselves, but better for the builders, better for the developers.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the point where, we're training the realtors more and more.
Yeah.
And how do you work with a builder? It's different than working with Mr. and Mrs. Jones and listing their house.
Right. Yes. Oh, absolutely. That's two different processes. Yep.
How do you become a marketing partner for that builder?
Yeah.
Or for that developer? And it's a much different experience, for everybody. And now it's to the point where we'll have builders. I have builders that call me up and say, hey, I'm in such and such a market, and I saw your website, and I just want to know, is so-and-so, is this a Hoodle realtor? And is that person a Hoodle realtor? And, and so, and I have to explain to them, well, we're not a brokerage,
Right.
This person is on Hoodle, this person's not. But, from their standpoint, the impression I get is that builders are starting to see that realtors that are associated with Hoodle are a different quality.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense. If I, like say, Sean, when you get ready to build your home here in the near future, if I were you, I would want to do business with a realtor that's utilizing Hoodle for sure, because I know they've got the best information. And for you wanting to build and you want to know the optional locations to build, Hoodle is the only place, really, from what I've learned, the only place to find that information, or at least have it in its completeness.
Yeah, because before I had this conversation with you two today, I was strongly leaning towards a van.
You can't rule out those options.
Yeah, don't rule it out.
It is an option,
I like the idea of you living in a van. It'll give me plenty to talk about. But yeah, I just,
Wi-Fi's gonna suck.
Yeah. I doubt the missus would appreciate the van too much. Maybe she's a van person. I know mine's not.
What about if you get to the man cave? Honey, I'm going to the man cave. I'll be in the seat over next to you.
Please don't disturb. Yeah, but
I'm rolling up the window. Be quiet.
That's stupid. Man, but no, you see, you actually, Sean, you become the best person for this conversation, because the questions you have in your process at this very moment, we're getting answers to. And I didn't know these answers before we brought Ron on. I really didn't. I
didn't know these questions. So
well, good.
It's a real learning experience for me, because.
Right. And we make fun of you, but you're in the seat that many are in the seat of. I speak to people all the time, especially in the outskirts of these big cities. I don't know where I would start, but now I do. I mean, now I know.
We've been up in Chicago. We had to go up there and do a presentation. We're up in Naperville, in one of the suburbs of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And we did a presentation. My wife and I just, it was late. We spent the night. Next day, we were like, well, hey, let's go find the neighborhoods, right? And so first thing I did, I'm going to call builders. Builders will know. They're builders. They're building houses. Hey, call builder friend up. Where's the new construction? I know there's new construction all over Naperville area. well, here's a neighborhood, there's a neighborhood, tell, he said, what I'd really do, I'd go over to go to a builder's office. And he told me about one. So I go to a builder's office, talk to she's like, I don't know. I mean, you know what she said? She said, I'd go to the Pro Center at Menards. So we drive over to the Pro Center at Menards. They're delivering lumber to all the new construction.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Basically we went down a rabbit trail for quite a ways. It was like 4 or 5 hours before we finally found. And then, all of a sudden, we finally get to the area, part of town where the new construction is going on. And there's like signs all over the place. That way, up, down, every place, all kinds of neighborhoods. And what was funny was, let's go to this one. We drive, it'd be 45 minutes down the road. It's like, well, why is a developer putting signs close to an hour away?
Yeah.
Because that's their only mechanism for getting to traffic. But, we're walking through one of these houses, and we go into these model homes. And Paul, we always run into the people that are walking through them, and I talk to all of them, and I talked to this one couple, and there's like, we've been doing this for every Sunday for 2 years because we don't know what our options are. We really want to build. We're serious about building, but we want to know our options before we do it.
And you should. Yeah.
Can you imagine, 2 years? And that's not a unique case. I mean, people looking for years and years to try to get this project done, but you can't find it.
I just did not know there was such a big gap. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just gonna say it's unconscionable.
I'm really getting a little blown away here because I myself just sitting on my side of the game. I assumed that this wasn't an issue. I assumed you could call a realtor and they would know these answers immediately. I would just think that's in their job description to know this stuff.
Exactly. What do you do if you don't know? All right, you're a realtor. I'm a little miffed. So you're a realtor. You sell real estate. I want to purchase said real estate. And you don't know where any of it is?
Well, no, wait. I mean,
when it comes to property to build on,
property
specifically.
Yeah. I want a blank lot or an acre or two. I may grow some little crumb snatchers. May need 3 acres for them to run around in.
I feel sorry for these kids.
I feel sorry for them already. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to name them. All 3 of them.
You going to name them what?
Apology.
Well, but see, that's a very good point. I just would assumed that the real estate companies would know this information. So what if say, okay, let's I like to run hypotheticals. Let's say I call my realtor and I say, hey, I want to build. What are my available options? What do you think they're going to tell me? Are they going to say, I don't know? Or are they going to tell me that's misleading?
No, they won't. So, what we find amongst realtors, and this is an interesting thing because a lot of people, when you talk to the buyers, will say, realtors always discourage me from building. So they'll go to a realtor. A lot of times realtors will say, don't bother, because the realtor feels like they can get their commission faster if you just go, right? But to me, that's not being a fiduciary. That's not being a guide to what they want,
No.
And I'm not saying that's all realtors. I don't want to make any statement.
I know, but it's uncovering another issue. And this is another reality check. Is your realtor, and I'm not getting on realtors in this thing. I'm hoping to help realtors by this cast here. By broadcasting this information, I think realtors should really listen to this and get involved with this so they can, like I said, serve better. And so I'm not just getting on them, but I think they have to have this, otherwise they're providing misleading information, and it's not like they're doing it on purpose. They're just providing the information they have, and they don't have this information to give. Yeah. So rather than be honest and say, I don't know, they may just say, oh, there's this lot and this lot, which it could be only a piece of the actual availability.
That's exactly it.
So build this database. If I'm a realtor, I want to go build this. I want to go add to the Hoodle database so that I can give more options to the prospective home buyer, home builder. But yeah, you're right. It gets to be an ethical decision for a realtor, I can see, in that they say, okay, well, it would be a slower, longer process, and I don't know as much about home building. I'd rather push them to just buying a house that I might could flip, or one that's on the market. So it comes to an ethical decision whether or not to give the prospective home buyer this information, because it might not be as financially beneficial to me. You know what I mean? So I'm putting myself in a realtor's shoes, and I get it, but accountability you're creating, because the home buyer can go on Hoodle and find these properties themselves.
Yes, they can.
Okay, so you're adding account. The realtor is, I can say forced, but the realtor is obligated then to utilize this platform as well, because the database gives those properties out. The home buyer can come to the realtor and say, hey, I'm on Hoodle and I see these properties available. Let's talk. You know what I mean? So it should help the realtor. You know what I mean? It help them in more ways than I can count right now. I'm starting to really get a hang of this, and I like it. This is to me, it's a no-brainer for a realtor, and I think home buyers should see it the same way. This is the place to start before you even go to the realtor. That makes sense.
So we've had realtors that, and I think as it really begins to flesh out city by city.
Yeah.
And so now we're learning how to get everything. We want everything. We want 100% of the data for a metro market that we're going to open up in. And so it becomes a resource, you're right, for the realtors, where the realtors, they go there because they don't have another resource to find this information. But I've actually had builders as well that I've had, multiple times that the builders said, I go to Hoodle because I don't know where to build. I don't, the builders don't even know what their options are. And they know a few of them, but, we're uncovering other ones that they may not be aware of. Maybe there's only 2 or 3 lots or 5 lots, but shoot, the buyer only wants to build one house. So
true.
And so it's an option. And so we're including them all there. Yeah.
Well, I can see this as an opportunity for a home builder, especially if it's one that builds multiple homes in the same neighborhood. They can explore and they can know all the available lots, not just a single lot, but they can get in the market to purchase multiple of these available lots that are available to you from Hoodle. And so if they wanted to invest in the building and then sell out the homes after they build them, they can find a neighborhood and find a cluster of available lots. Mm-hmm. That, call an Ep4 that I just can't believe. I just would assume that even if I'm a builder, I would call the realtor and say, hey, I am willing to buy 20 acres and build homes and segregate this out into lots. Where are my available options into this criteria so I can build on it and sell the homes, individually. And so the builder can start right there as well. It's not just the home buyer, it's not just the realtor, but the builder. I can see so many of these players of the game benefiting from this. And until you just brought this in here, I would have just assumed this was already in place.
I think everybody does. We put together a little ebook on it that we're getting ready to redo it. We kind of broke down the top dozen or so problems that buyers experience. And I went with the top 7, and I wrote a document, it's pretty short, but small book on here's the top 7 problems. And then we did videos to go along with it that really kind of drill down into what exactly is this, and what do the numbers look like, and how broken really is it, and how can we repair it? Yeah. And I think that, we meet so many builders that, I think this COVID virus thing too is moving everything forward, because builders have realized for a long time that they need to get on the web, and that not only they need to be there, but they need to be present, and be figuring out because that's where the buyers are. NAR says 100% of home buyers now hit the web early in their buyer journey.
Yes.
Whether that's a new home buyer or a used home buyer, they all go to the web. Yeah. And just so happens, though, if you're thinking about building, you can't find Jack.
Well, I was going to ask, where are they going? Let's just say they are not going to Hoodle at this moment. Where else are they going?
They'll go to a big real estate portal.
Yeah.
which are plenty of those. Every they'll go to the MLS or every multiple listing service is fed out to every brokerage website, every realtor website.
Yeah.
But they're not going to find their options. They'll find a little bit of them, but they really can't find the builders or compare the builders or what the builders build or the neighborhoods or on and on and on. And so it's kind of a mess.
Yeah. Well, see, if I am a realtor, if I'm listening to this broadcast right here and I'm a realtor, I would want to get out tomorrow and start building this database. I would want to go ahead and start preparing myself for that next prospective home buyer that steps through the door or calls me up and asks me these. I want to go ahead and build my database so I can have my answers ready for them. Or if I'm going to market potential, if I'm going to market to new buyers, new builders, new home builders, then I want to go ahead and build this database. So I've got my pawns in place, ready to take on that client, ready to share this information, ready to grab that new client. If there's anything, it should be a call here to the realtors to get out and build this database. Why wouldn't you?